That was good, y'all.
All right, y'all, so welcome back to another video. I appreciate y'all for tuning back in. So this is a Peter Millar Summer Comfort Golf Polo. It does have a custom embroidery. It's from Troubadour. I think that's how you pronounce it. But anyway, I think that's a high-end luxury community right here in Nashville. But anyway, found it at the Goodwill bins, 50 cents. Sold within 24 hours for 18 bucks plus shipping. Alright, so these are some cool pants, and these were even a little faded. They also had a couple of small stains right here on the right pants leg, but found them down at the Goodwill bins for under 2 bucks. This model is called just the canvas jeans, and I've sold it quite a bit. I knew just with a little bit of flaws it would still sell with no problem. And again, sold within 24 hours for 18 bucks plus shipping. Alright, so this is supposed to be the warmest day in a while at 32. So it's not really saying a lot, but I guess so, because we've been down in the teens for like the last few days. So I guess we'll take it. But anyway, this is a Eddie Bauer. It's a full zip fleece. I believe this one is a men's tall extra large. Goodwill bins pickup, probably let's say $1.50, 2 bucks. Sold for 13 plus shipping. All right, so when I'm down at the Goodwill bins, I'm always looking up stuff that I'm unfamiliar with and looking to see if there's any value. So I stumbled across this jeans brand. It seems like it's vintage. It's from, see if I can pull the label up for you. It's the Rocky Mountain Clothing Company. I'm guessing it's a Colorado brand. If it'll focus in. There it is. But anyway, I didn't really have any familiarity with this brand prior to picking it up. And I want to say I found this pair on a particular day, and then maybe like a few weeks later I found 2 or 3 other pair. But probably about 2 bucks, maybe 3 tops, and they sold pretty quick for 30 plus shipping. All right, so this is something that I didn't do early in my reselling career, and probably started doing it heavily here over this last year, since I'm usually camped out at the Goodwill bins. Always try to see if I can find something different. And so this is a matte Samoto shaved ice, just a sweatshirt in Hawaii. And years ago I probably would have just looked at this and probably just tossed it back, because early in my reselling career I was only at the bins for a few hours a day, and so I was only going for stuff that I knew that sold, so I could kind of be on my way to go and do other sourcing. But anyway, on this particular day I looked this one up, seen that it had movement on eBay, and it sold for under probably about 60 days and probably cost no more than 2 bucks, and I got 15 plus shipping. All right, so I probably have a couple of hundred of these in inventory. These are just your basic Nike Tempo running shorts. Usually you can find these down at the bins for $1, and they usually by themselves sell for right around 10 bucks. This customer reached out to me and asked if we can do a bundle deal on both of these. So she was on a tight budget and just wanted to spend no more than 15 bucks. And so I sold both of these to her for 14 all in. And again, they probably cost me 50 cents for both of them. By the time I ship them, probably spend 5 bucks on the ship, 50 cents on the buy cost one. So once you pay fees, you can still make somewhere between 5 to 7 bucks on these. And so in that case, I'll do these kind of deals all day, because again, I have a ton of these. All right, so these are a pair of FJ Performance golf spikes. Here's the bottoms, and the weird thing about this is these actually sold a couple of days ago, and then probably a couple of hours later I got a cancellation request from the buyer, and he messaged me and said that he noticed that the insoles were missing. If I can kind of point that out to you, and he said that that was actually a deal breaker for him, but no big deal. I've said on this channel numerous times that you can pick up shoes without the insoles and you can move them with no problem, but you will run across people where, in this case right here, it's a deal breaker, but the great majority of the people don't care. But anyway, these are a Goodwill bins pickup. Probably cost, let's just say 3 bucks, and they sold, basically he canceled them 2 days ago and they sold the very next day for 35 plus shipping. All right, so another one of those items that I wouldn't even picked up years ago. It's just a jersey sweatshirt. It's a CBS News. Go get your afternoon news. But anyway, I looked it up and seen that it had movement on eBay, which is normally my process when I'm finding employee shirts, companies, in this case news channels. But anyway, Goodwill bins, $2, and I think this one sold for $15 plus shipping. All right, so these are some Florida Gators Elite basketball shorts, and they also had a few stains on the front left side. Found them at the Goodwill bins for 50 cents. And then I knew even with the stains that you could still move these for a little bit of money. I'm a big Oregon fan, and if I found some shorts that had just some minor stains like this, I wouldn't mind picking it up. So just kind of thinking like a consumer, I figured somebody would still grab them. But anyway, 50 cents, and they sold under a week for 13 plus shipping. All right, so this is a Milwaukee. It's a work sweatshirt, and this was a throwback from somebody, which I don't really understand. Milwaukee, it's basically a tools brand, very expensive. I don't know if you can see up there on my shelf. I actually have a Milwaukee drill. I bought that a few years ago when I was doing some work on our van, and it's supposed to be, I think, probably like the most, I guess, highest frequency impact socket on the market, at least at the time when I bought it. But anyway, these are really, really good. Usually if you find them, you can usually move them somewhere between like 50 and 100. It also comes with the charger cable in the pocket. So I'm guessing if you're working on something you need to charge your drill, you can kind of plug it up right here. But yeah, somebody threw this one back, and it sold under not even 3 or 4 days for 60 plus shipping. It's a little bit heavy, and so it probably costs, let's just say, $3. So this is a notable item that I found at the Goodwill bins this week. It's a pair of these Fast House Grindhouse dirt bike motorcycle pants. They were extremely dirty, but I let them soak in one of my tubs for 2 days, and the mud came right off. And outside of that, they were basically brand new. You can just tell that maybe he wore these once or twice, got them dirty, and then just decided to donate them. They probably cost $2 to $3. They are a little bit on the heavy side, and I think Comps had these selling for anywhere between 40 to 60. And I had seen people kind of looking at these before I actually got over to that bin, but I think the dirt deterred a lot of people away. And I figured once, if I can let them soak for a few days, that they would come clean. And I'm glad I did, because it looks like this is going to work out and be a pretty decent sale now. Alright, so these are some Nike training shorts, and weird thing about these are they actually sold maybe like 2 weeks ago, but they were returned because the buyer said that they ran kind of small. So I updated the listing, kind of put that in there, and they sold this morning or last night for 20 plus shipping, and got them from the bins. Probably only costs 50 cents. Alright, so this is a Seattle Seahawk New with Tags t-shirt that I got from Burlington when we were still up in Oregon. And so shout out to the great people of the Pacific Northwest. The Hawks are actually in the Super Bowl now, and so I went back and redid a lot of my listings from my Seahawk inventory. I have a ton, because our last few years in Oregon, the Seahawks weren't that good, and so when teams aren't good, you're not able to move the inventory as fast. And so now the Seahawk stuff that I have is flying off the shelves as people get prepared for the Super Bowl here over the next a couple of weeks or so. And so I repriced a lot of like my t-shirts. I did have some shorts, and so I'm pricing my t-shirts for anywhere between like 15 to 20 bucks, hoping to get 15 to 20 all in, because I have a lot of it. So I'm not trying to price the inventory so high to where I can't sell it. I want to probably try to sell at least 50 to 75% of the Seahawks stuff that I have in the next couple of weeks. And again, this was a t-shirt that I got from Burlington on clearance. I think a lot of these were like $5 or $6, so not a ton of money to be made here, but if I can move at least, like I said, 50% of the Seahawk inventory that I have, it'll be a great day. Alrighty, y'all, so I've had all I can take out here in the frigid temperatures, so this is where I'm gonna cut the video off at. I appreciate y'all for coming along with me. If you got anything out of it, like it, consider subscribing to the channel. I'll catch y'all right back here on the next video. Succeed.
This might be all that I know. Think it's okay. I've got a long way to grow. At my own pace. Go the long way. No one taught me how to walk, but I figured it out fine.